Okay, we are moving on to 10.7. So here we have the square root of v equals 5. The way to solve this is to undo the square root by squaring. And I get the square root of v squared equals 25. But the square root of v times the square root of v is just v equals 25. Okay? Okay, what if I had the square root of x plus 1 equals 4? Well, now I square both sides, and I get x plus 1 equals 16, and I subtract 1, and I get x equals 15. However, sometimes, well, every time you need to be careful. Watch this. What about the square root of, let's do that. 3x minus 6 equals 9. Let's do negative 9. Square both sides. 3x minus 6 equals 81. So we add 6, and I get 3x equals 87. And we divide by 3, and I get x is 29. And then I feel all good about myself, and I plug in the answer, and I get it wrong. So let's stick this in here and see what happens. 29 times 3 is 87, and 87 minus 6 is 81. Is the square root of 81 equal to negative 9? No. So my algebraic process of solving for x squared a negative, and then that gave me an answer that isn't actually correct. So anytime you have a square root equals a negative number, then that has no solution. Okay. So what if I had something like the square root of x plus 4 equals 7? Is that okay? Well, I need to know, is the square root a positive or a negative number? So I need to subtract 4, and I get the square root of x equals 3. And that's okay. A square root can equal positive 3. What if I had the square root of 2x minus 4 minus 6 equals negative 3? Is that okay? It doesn't look like it to begin with because we have a negative on the other side. But if I add 6, then I get the square root of 2x minus 4 equals 3, and that will work. What about the square root of x plus 8 equals 7? Does that work? No. When I isolate the square root by subtracting the 8, I get the square root of x equals negative 1, and that has no solution. There is no way to square root a number and get a negative. All right. So here, is this one all right? Yes. Square both sides. V plus 4 equals 81. Subtract 4. V equals 77. Okay. All right. Suppose that a wave forms in shallow water. The depth d of the water and the velocity of the wave are related by the equation v equals the square root of 9.8d. If a wave formed in shallow water has a velocity of 5.1 meters per second, what is the wave's depth? So this is a velocity, so we stick it in for v. 5.1 equals the square root of 9.8d. Square both sides. I don't know my 5.1 times tables. So 5.1 squared is 26.01 equals 9.8d. And then divide by 9.8. And I get the depth is 2.8 7. All right. Ooh. This wants us to solve this using common bases. We could solve this using logarithms. We've done logarithms, right? Did we do logs in this? No? That was my other class? Oh, duh. You guys are sophomores. I'm sorry. So, 27 to the negative x plus 1 is equal to 81. Well, 27 is really just 3 to the third. And 81 is really just 3 to the fourth. So this value here is 3 to the third to the negative x plus 1. Right? And if I had x squared to the third, what is the interaction between those two exponents? We multiply. So the interaction between these exponents would also be multiply. So I get 3 raised to the negative 3x plus 3 is equal to 3 to the fourth. Well, if 3 to this value is equal to 3 to this value, then those two values must be equal. So we subtract 3, negative 3x equals 1, divide by negative 3, x is negative 1/3. All right, let's do another one. All right. 64 is 2 to the 6th. And 16 is 2 to the 4th. And that's raised to the negative x plus 4. So I need to multiply this in there. So we have 2 to the 6th equals 2 to the negative 4x plus 4. And if the bases are the same, then the exponents must match. So 6 is equal to negative 4x plus 4. So we subtract 4 and get a 2. Divide by negative 4. X is negative 1/2. All right, that's it. Get to work.